Are you thinking about moving your family to St. Louis, Missouri, but you're wondering, is St. Louis a good place to raise a family? Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to break it down and tell you all about it. My name is Kevin Duy. I'm a realtor here in St. Louis, Missouri, and I specialize in helping families just like yours relocate from around the country to live right here in St. Louis. So if that's you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, click the little bell so you're notified every single time I upload a new video, because my videos are all about eating, sleeping, living, playing, and raising a family here in St. Louis, Missouri. So whenever people ask me, is St. Louis, Missouri a good place to live for families? Really, I've kind of found that there's a question behind that question. And so the real question they're wondering is St. Louis, Missouri a safe place to live for families? And so the answer to that question is, it depends. And when I say that, I'm not trying to dodge the question. It really does depend on what part of St. Louis you're talking about. Okay, and so the way that St. Louis, Missouri is broken up, there's St. Louis City and there's St. Louis County. And the county is a much larger area and representation of our region than St. Louis City is, but for some reason the FBI, whenever they pull their crime statistics, they only pull those statistics from St. Louis City. And not all of St. Louis City is crime-ridden either, but there are definitely parts of St. Louis City that are crime-ridden, and it's more the northern parts of the city. So I'm not going to load this video up full of boring statistics and stuff like that. I just want to talk to you from the perspective of a husband and father of 4 kids who has been raising my family here in St. Louis. I've lived here my whole life. And so that's kind of the perspective and the angle that I'm going to come at this from. One thing you're going to find too, as far as just the details about the homicide rate in St. Louis, is that the majority of the homicides are taking place unfortunately, in areas that are socio and economically depressed and challenged areas. And so you're not finding these murders and the homicides in your neighborhoods where the median home prices are $250,000 and up. Unfortunately, it's in the lower income, poverty-stricken areas, and unfortunately, poverty breeds crime, and most of the crimes are crimes that are committed on the people amongst the neighborhoods are committing them against themselves. And so there's arguments and gangs and drugs and that kind of stuff that's going on in those neighborhoods, and that leads to violence, and that's what's obviously a very unfortunate fact about the violence and the homicides in St. Louis. But I'm guessing that if you're looking to move your family and relocate your family here to St. Louis, then you've got your stuff together, right? You're not going to be living in, the depressed and, poverty-stricken areas. You're going to be living, in a nicer subdivision and suburb. And so really, for me, like I said, raising my family, I've never gone somewhere with my family and felt unsafe. That includes, going downtown or to any other functions. We go to St. Louis Cardinals games that are downtown, St. Louis Blues games that are downtown in the city, in St. Louis City. I never felt unsafe, in St. Louis City downtown whenever I was with my family. Whenever I'm with my family, I never feel unsafe there. And there's some fantastic and awesome neighborhoods within St. Louis City. Like I said, it's just certain neighborhoods that are in the lower and the depressed, lower economic and depressed areas that you're going to find those crimes. So my wife and I, we have 4 kids, and they all love playing sports. So our kids growing up playing multiple sports really got us involved heavily in the youth sports community here in St. Louis, and that's one of the foundations, I think, of our family community here in town, is that we just have tremendous people and organizations around youth sports here in town. And so even so one of the things that you're going to find when you live here is that, so if your kids play hockey or baseball, the St. Louis Blues and St. Louis Cardinals alumni, like a ton of St. Louis Cardinals and St. Louis Blues players retire and end up staying here in St. Louis and raising their families in town. And they end up being, a lot of the former players end up being coaches, youth baseball and youth hockey coaches around town. And I mean, those guys and those families are multi-million-dollar families because of the money they earn playing professional sports. So they could choose to live anywhere. They could live in any city, in the world, and they choose to stay here and raise their family here in St. Louis. And whenever I hear different interviews of athletes on the radio or on podcasts and stuff, they all kind of come back to the same thing. They all say that they just love the community and the people of St. Louis. And they think that there's a lot of great opportunities for their kids here. It's a great place. It is a safe place to raise your kids, to raise your family. But they always speak to the community and the people. I think that's what you're going to find if you choose to relocate here to St. Louis, is that the people here are we've just got some great great people. There's no other way to put it besides the fact that we're just a very caring community, and there's something special about the people and the relationships that you build here in town. In fact, Joe Buck, national broadcaster who is from St. Louis, was just on a local radio show talking about Chris Pronger, the NHL defenseman who is a Hall of Famer, and just actually had his number retired by the St. Louis Blues. They asked him kind of about all the St. Louis Blues players and Cardinals players and just sports alumni who choose to stay here or either move away and come back to St. Louis and make St. Louis their permanent home after their playing careers are done. And here's what Joe Buck had to say about living in St. Louis.
But St. Louis is unique that way in that all these people that could do anything they want, live anywhere, choose to stay around here and just be sort of regular citizens. What is it about St. Louis that makes it different where, the celebrities want to stay here and just be regular folks?
Well, I think in the case, everybody's got their own situation. I think in the case of Chris, from Dryden, Ontario, a small town, like he said when he gave the speech, and I was there the other night, he was there for 15 years. He's been in St. Louis for 20. And, he married a St. Louis girl. And I just think there's an easy way of life here. And I think people are really nice. There are no walls up, between me and whoever comes into my path. And most of the time people are telling me stories about my dad, which I love to hear. But I don't know. It seems like it's a good thing because maybe the guys who play here who aren't nice and are jerks go to bigger cities and mix in. And here, I don't think you last very long if you don't act the right way. And if you do, people are here with open arms. And whether you're from Dryden, Ontario, or in the case of my wife from Denver, Colorado, it's just a nice, easy lifestyle that it's easy to get to the airport. It's easy to get downtown. It's easy to get out west. And it's just a great way of life that we have here. It's very underrated.
So here in St. Louis, we don't have mountains, we don't have beaches, but what we do have is a lot of fun family activities that you can do. There's always something fun to do as a family here in St. Louis. And one of the things you're going to love is that there's a ton of free stuff to do as a family. One of my family's favorite activities to do in town is to go to our zoo. And our zoo is free. And it's not just a free, kind of good, decent zoo. It's a friggin' fantastic zoo. It's a world-class zoo, and it's free. Every time I go there, it kind of blows me away that we get to just experience all of this stuff 100% for free. Some of our favorite exhibits include the sea lion exhibit, the polar bear exhibit, and the penguins. When you're there at different times, different animals are active at different times. So like the last time we went, the lion and the leopard were both really active, and so we got great views of the lion and the leopard, and where previous times they were kind of hiding out, we didn't really see them. Other times, like the polar bear, will be super active and like splashing around in the water and going crazy. And then other times, he'll be kind of up taking a nap or whatever. Same thing with like the sea lions, and just really, it's like I said, you see different stuff every single time you go. And the benefit of it being free is that you can go as many times as you want. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not like you're like, we already blew our family fund budget for the month, so we can't go back to the zoo. You can go whenever you want. That's the cool thing about it. Not only is St. Louis a good place to live, it's a great place to eat. We have an amazing food scene here in town. In fact, Eater Magazine just named St. Louis as a top 13 food destination in the world. Like on planet Earth. That's pretty crazy. And just this past December, St. Louis was named as the #1 city for the most affordable and highest quality restaurants in the country. My wife and I love going out to dinner either by ourselves and on date night or with our kids. We've got a ton of family-friendly restaurants in town, and we've just got a ton of locally owned great family restaurants here in St. Louis. And so one of the things that we're bad about, my wife and I, are getting out into other parts of St. Louis to explore other restaurants, because we kind of just live in our little comfort zone in our bubble here in our community where we live, because there's a collection of 4, 5, 6 different just great restaurants. I mean, if we want Mexican or pizza or Italian or Chinese or Thai, there's just so many just great restaurants within 5 minutes of our house. And most communities, most neighborhoods in St. Louis are like that. So pretty much every region where you live, any area where you live in St. Louis, you're going to have just a collection of just amazing locally owned restaurants that you can't find anywhere else in the world. And it's pretty cool to see that those restaurants are getting recognized, and just our food scene here in general is getting recognized, on a global scale from, publications like Eater and things like that. So, like I said before, don't just take it from me. Take it from the fact that people that are multi-million-dollar professional athletes can live anywhere in the world, including Joe Buck. I mean, shoot, he's got some money in the bank, right? He can choose to live anywhere in the world as well. But they choose to make St. Louis a home for a reason, and it's it's a simple life. The people are great. You have every amenity that you could possibly want, but it's just life is just simple, and it's nice. It's nice living here in St. Louis. My wife and I have been married for over 20 years, and we both grew up living in St. Louis. And so we've got 4 kids ranging in age from 18 to 7. And so we've pretty much, been there, done that as far as raising a family here in St. Louis. And so I know all about it. And so I would love to help you decide if it's a good fit for raising your family here or not too. If you want to know more about living in St. Louis and if St. Louis is a good fit for your family or not, go ahead and get in touch with me by email, text, call, DM, however you want to contact me. I'm here to help you learn all about St. Louis and to help you decide if it's a good fit for your family or not.